Hi, this is Jenny. I'm super excited to have you on today. She has a blog called Good For You Gluten Free, and I would love for you to just start off by telling me what your allergies are, how you're diagnosed, and what it's like to live with them today.
Oh, thank you. So fun to have this chat with you, Kayla.
Yeah.
So yes, I was diagnosed with celiac disease. I think it's been almost 9 years now. And that was really a huge wake-up call in my nutrition journey and learning to eat in a way that was good for me. And so when I was diagnosed with celiac disease, obviously could not eat gluten. It was really hard emotionally and physically to give up gluten. It was really a journey. And a few years into my diagnosis, I decided to go back to school, study nutrition, and really understand what was going on inside my body and hopefully help others. And that's where the whole Good For You gluten-free website came out of, this opportunity and also challenge in my life to help other people on their gluten-free journeys and their journeys to heal their body, not just how to swap, gluten-free donuts and regular donuts, but more so how to eat in a way that is good for you and still enjoy those good things too.
Yeah, absolutely. So can you tell me a little bit more about your blog and your business and who you're trying to help?
Yeah, of course. Well, I definitely help the gluten-free community, and it's more of the community of people who eat gluten-free for medical reasons or because they feel better. And I actually don't know a lot of people who eat gluten-free just because it's fun. Like,
Yeah.
it's not like super fun to like
Right.
come on a gluten-free diet. And I'm not here to help people like get skinny eating gluten-free because that won't work. This isn't a fad diet. So I really serve the celiac communities and the gluten sensitive and intolerant communities, as well as people who are potentially struggling with other autoimmune issues that can be helped through ditching gluten in many ways. So Good For You Gluten Free has a ton of information on anything from getting tested to ordering at a restaurant and eating at different restaurants, as well as different recipes that I've been playing with and working on myself, and a lot of product recommendations of products that I trust. And so just a lot of different information, something for everyone, really.
Yeah, absolutely. And I can attest to that because I follow her newsletter. So I get her emails every day and they're very, very good. So I would definitely recommend for you to join that. So can you tell me a little bit more about what it's been like to eat out since your diagnosis and what you preach on your blog or to your clients?
Right. Yeah, eating out is one of those things that is just part of the human experience. We want to eat out, we want to feel normal. You know, you can't go to celebrate a friend's birthday without everyone gathering to eat out, or go out to eat with some of your friends from work for a lunch break or after work. And so there's a lot of people in the gluten-free and even allergen communities who are like, don't eat out, you shouldn't eat out. And I just like, I can't take that because that's just not real life. We
Right.
have to be able to eat out. We have to be able to go to a friend's wedding and be able to eat. We have to be able to go and celebrate our dad's birthday and go to a restaurant. And so, while I don't always say, eat all your meals out, because there is a risk of getting gluten and eating other allergen foods that might not work for your body. Real life is being able to eat out. And so I really practice the philosophy of a very practical approach, is that you got to learn how to eat out and navigate a menu in a way that is good for you. And so I teach people to eat out in a way that is safe, and or telling them to order the safest meal on the restaurant. Like, it's not always good to go order pizza when you eat out, for example, unless you're at a certain kind of restaurant that really does pizza well. But you can usually get a good piece of fish and some broccoli and maybe French fries if they're cooked in a dedicated fryer. French fries are my weakness, you know me.
So good.
Well,
Yes.
and so just telling people how to order, how to navigate the menu, how to have these conversations with waiters. And so I take this more practical approach, like, hey, eating out is, again, part of this human experience. Let's learn how to do it safely. Let's not, thumb our nose at it.
Yeah, absolutely. What would you say it's like for you to eat out?
It's definitely a nerve-wracking experience. And we had chatted a little bit earlier too, that there's like 4 restaurants that I find myself always going to.
Right.
but I really do like to try new things and new restaurants. I am always looking for recommendations. Word of mouth is the way that I usually learn about new restaurants. But I will say eating at a restaurant, particularly one that I'm not used to eating at, is definitely nerve-wracking. And these are hard conversations. And especially when I'm with new people, sometimes I feel like the conversation is always about what I can and can't eat. And I really just want to get to know these new friends and not have to always talk about what I'm eating and what's on my plate. And so, it's a difficult experience. I will say it's never easy, but it does get easier with time and as you become more comfortable with eating out. But there is anxiety, that's just inevitable.
Yeah, absolutely. And with this product, we're trying to decrease that anxiety. But I think that's a good point because when you go out to social events or like you're going to a restaurant with friends, they don't always want to go to the same 4 restaurants that you go to. So then they're like, oh, like, let's go here. And you're like, oh, okay, this is going to be fun. Like, this is going to be a new experience for me.
Yeah,
Really,
to be flexible, right? Like,
yeah.
oh, yeah, I can go along with the flow, but part of me is terrified inside. Where am I going?
Right. You're like, okay, just let me look at the menu, just give me a second.
But I
Yeah,
do find that nobody wants to go out to eat and there's nothing for me. Like, who wants to sit there and eat a meal and I just sit
yeah,
there and watch them eat? So I find that people who truly care about me and want to go out with me, they want me to pick the restaurant. They want me to find a place that they know I can eat because, again, who wants
yeah.
to eat alone? Like, eating is a very shared experience.
Right, which I think is really important because that goes to show that you affect not only yourself, but people around you. And so the buying decision of where you're going and what restaurant you go to is heavily affected by who you're with. And the increasing amount of people that are being diagnosed with allergies or cutting out certain foods because they have to do it for gut health reasons or autoimmune reasons not only affects that one human, but it affects their family, it affects their friends. And so now that's not one customer, it might be like 5, 10 customers.
Absolutely. I definitely pick where my whole family goes out,
Right.
not just my immediate family, but, my mom, I say, hey, we're all going out to eat to celebrate this or whatever. Where are we going? And it's
Right.
always up to me. And so there's a lot of pressure, but at the same time, there's, a reason that she's saying that she wants me to be able to enjoy the meal with everyone. And I do at some point have a lot of say in where we do and don't eat.
Yeah, absolutely. Because I think that there's a lot of people who have food allergies. And I'm sure you've experienced this with clients because I know I have that say it's okay. And they're like, oh, like, it's fine. Like, I like bringing my own food. I'm used to it. It's fine, but it's not okay. And it shouldn't have to be that way.
Right. Right. And yeah, I can't help it. Sometimes I'll get little tears in my eyes. Like, you mean I can't eat anything here? Like, this is really sad. Nobody wants me to cry while they're eating, trying to enjoy their
Right.
meal.
You're like holding back tears. Cool. So I know that we chatted about this a little bit earlier, but given that we are creating resources to try and make this less of an anxiety ridden experience, so having allergy menus where you can look at and see your options and, creating a standardized process with the restaurant so they understand cross contact better and see that information in advance and know the different steps that that restaurant is taking in order to keep you safe. How do you think having those types of resources and information would change that eating out experience or maybe make it a little bit easier to try new restaurants?
Right. I think restaurants need to wake up and realize like allergies are not going away. The
Yeah,
gluten-free diet is not a fad diet. It's not going away. And either
right.
you're with us or against us. And I do think that a lot of restaurants that have really been slow to adopt an allergy-friendly approach to dining are suffering the most. And I think the ones that have been really open and flexible are doing really well because we talk in this
Yeah.
community.
Oh, yeah.
There's actually a couple of restaurants that I have wanted to eat at with celiac disease. My family has wanted to go out and eat there, and they're now out of business. These are just companies that have sort of refused to adapt to this changing tide. So I think it will greatly impact your future as a restaurant. Like, I think they have to think to the future. These food allergies are just growing. And there's a lot of reasons why this could be happening, and I won't get into that because that would be a lot of
Right.
potentially like a political debate or whatever. But
Yeah.
right now food allergies are growing. We're finding more and more people finding themselves also intolerant to different foods, which is
Yep.
different from allergies. We're finding increasing rates of celiac disease. We're finding all these things. And so if a restaurant really was able to communicate what's in their food, train their staff, and make this growing community a priority, I think that they will do really well long term, and they will get that loyal customer base that they want. It's not just me coming in once a year, it's me coming in every week because I feel comfortable eating at that restaurant.
Right. And like you said, it's a very tight-knit community. Right now, the biggest source of finding out where to go is word of mouth. That's such a big opportunity for the restaurants because it allows them to now bring in a whole new market that otherwise would just be hiding at home, which is frustrating for them because like I've talked to even moms that are like, I'm just so tired. I'm so tired of cooking every single night. I just want to order one pizza a week. Just don't want to cook one day of the week. And so having that opportunity to like have a restaurant where you're like, okay, I know I can order from here once a week, it would be recurring revenue for the restaurant, which is the ultimate goal.
It would be a dream.
Yeah. Right. I know that you worked with restaurants in the past. So is there anything that you would like to say or tell people that are struggling with this?
Right. Well, I get it. It is scary to eat out when there's foods that make you sick and there's foods that harm your body. But I think that you need to eat out, because the more that we eat out and help train these restaurants, we're paving the way, we're making it better for the next person. And I know every time I go to a restaurant I have a failed sort of experience. It's a learning experience. I don't lose the lesson there. I may have not felt good, but I've been able to communicate to the restaurant what they're doing wrong, and really communicate to them how they can do better. And so I just think that if we want things to get better, we want to be able to eat out more safely, we have to do it. We have to speak with our wallets, which means basically where we spend money, and wherever we spend the money, like spend it on places that care about the allergy free community, and
Right.
make it known. Tell those restaurants, I'm here because you have a gluten free menu, or you're
Right.
working with different companies to create products and menu items for our community. So things like that. So just really communicating, sharing, and supporting these businesses. And even right now, it's never been more important to support the businesses that support our community.
Right. And that advocacy is everything. It will make all the difference in the world because if we've learned anything from change in the past in any sort of area, it's because people speak up about something that is a big pain point for them. And so if we don't speak up, nothing will change because no one person can change a problem that large. It's just impossible. So like banding together and actually being like, I like came here because of this menu that I saw, or because of this resource, or because I heard from my friend that you were good with this allergy. Like letting them know that is so unbelievably important so that the restaurant can realize that there are so many more people than they think that are out there that really need these resources, not just for fun, but for an actual serious medical reason.
Right. We are so on the same page.
Yeah.
Absolutely. 100%. And it's a journey. I
Right.
think we all recognize that, yeah, this is a lot of time and resources for these restaurants. We get it. They're trying to feed hundreds of people in a
Right.
really tight period of time, and they can't be worried about, Miss Ginny over here with the gluten-free diet.
Right.
But, honestly, this is not going away. This is only expanding. And so restaurants can become more flexible, more nimble, and there's really easy ways that they can cater to different communities if they're willing to put in a little bit of this upfront effort.
Right. And I think it goes to show that it's not impossible because we see restaurants like Chipotle and Red Robin that do these things super, super well. And they run like hundreds of people through their doors on a daily basis, but they're still able to give that customer service and give that level of support to those who need it. So even though on the surface it might seem like that is just way too much work, just like really, really simple swaps that maybe take like 20 to 30 more seconds can make such a large impact, and that can create a recurring customer, which is an invaluable thing.
Absolutely. Totally agree.
Awesome. All right. Well, thank you so much for coming on. I really, really appreciate it. And I loved chatting with you about this.
Well, thank you so much for having me on. I appreciate all that you're doing for the gluten-free and allergen community as well.
Yeah, of course. Thank you.